is KC Sports Network, proudly presented by Emprise Bank.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Breakdown, the defensive edition, brought to you by Derrick Johnson's Defend the Dream Foundation. I am Craig Stout, and I am joined, as always, by my good pals, Big Mike DeVito and Derrick Johnson. Fellas, the defense through week 2 has just been spectacular, been flying around. DJ, what jumps out to you most when you watch this team play defense this year to start the year than maybe some other years under Steve Spagnuolo?
Well, first of all, after losing week 1, barely losing week 1, and being able to go on the road to Jacksonville, and Jacksonville's a good team, by the way. They're a good team. They'll be in the playoffs later on or whatnot. I don't know what seed, but they'll be in the playoffs. We beat a good team. We beat a good team, and we kind of dominated on defense against a really, really good up-and-coming quarterback. Steve Spagnuolo has been great, honestly. Yeah. We've always talked about his ways of being exotic by showing different fronts and blitzing and just being able to have the defense go in with a mindset. Obviously, Chris Jones is a big part of that, right? But I tell you what, man, I was proud to be a Chief on Sunday, to look and say, man, we know what we can do on offense. We already know. I mean, we can have an off week. It is what it is, but we know what we have in our offense and what they can do. But to be consistent on defense, it's a big deal. So I love when we win on defense. Love it.
Yeah, no, and just to piggyback off what DJ said, I mean, that's exactly the correct point, is that, you know, in the past, I think, Craig, you talked about previous years, the starts have been rough at times, whereas now the defense playing the way it's been playing is perfect, because now the offense is starting a little bit rough and they're trying to figure it out. And normally there's so much pressure on them to carry everything, whereas, and not all the time, I don't mean to overstate it.
Yeah,
it's just nice that it's the perfect timing for the defense to be playing so consistently well, because now the offense doesn't have to worry about carrying everything. We know exactly what they have, so it's just a matter of, you know, figuring things out, getting the kinks worn down, and getting everything going in the right direction, which we know they will do. They have all the talent, they have the coaches, but it's just the perfect time for the defense to be playing consistent ball, because it allows the offense to figure out what they got to do, and they don't have to do that in a hurry. Right, yeah. They're not saying, "Listen, we got to get this right because the defense can't hold up."
Right, yeah.
We got time.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of harkens back to when you guys were playing under Andy Reid there. You know, there were some, you know, starts of the season where the offense was getting their legs under them still, and they were leaning on you guys on the defensive side of the ball maybe a little bit to kind of go. Not that they weren't holding up their end of the deal, but, you know, a lot of those teams were definitely, you know, really good on defense, and it showed. So it's nice to see that it's not just the Patrick Mahomes show, that we get to see a little bit more of the defense coming into play here. So
which I love, the Pat Mahomes show.
Really? Yeah. Don't get right. Anytime the Pat Mahomes show wants to come to town, I'm on board. Don't get me wrong.
Exactly. Well, we don't have to rely on that, right? Yeah. We don't have to rely on it being the Pat Mahomes. That's the best way to put it. There's no prep. We're going to get the Pat Mahomes show, but we don't need it right away because the defense is playing consistent ball.
You know? Absolutely. So playing against the Jaguars, this team obviously gets Chris Jones back. Our first clip has to be of Chris Jones, and it's going to be rushing the passer. So we're going to start with the wide view here. You're going to see this is a dime rep here late, you know, in 3rd and long. We're going to switch to the reverse view here. But you see Chris Jones aligned as a defensive end. But not only that, you got rookie Felix Anudike-Uzomah off the right side here. Mike Dana as kind of like a 5-tech off the right side. And you got George Karlaftis in the middle here. That is a mean NASCAR front for this defense. And they all do such an exceptional job of staying in the rush lanes, crushing the pockets, winning their battles here. Guys, I'm just going to let it play so you can kind of see, but just a tremendous job by the front four winning here.
Yeah. I mean, I know we've talked about this before, but I think it's worth touching on again, because I think it's hard to understate how difficult it is, or how, an anomaly that Chris is, that he can normally play interior 3 technique, but then they can put him at a wide 9 and he can rush from a wide 9 position. I mean, those are basically 2 different positions on the field, right? There aren't too many 3 techs in the league that can go out and rush a wide 9 and be successful like that. There's a lot more space. The timing is different. Your get off of the football's got to be a lot quicker. It's not that easy to do, right? People think, it's a defensive line. He's just going from one position to the other. That's a whole nother world out there. And for Chris, and we've seen this year in and year out, the ability to be able to go out there and do that with the speed and the explosiveness. Look at the get off on the football. I mean, it just everything, perfect hand swipe. Like what? Look at this double hand swipe. The side scissor he uses. He gets engaged, then hits that side scissor. The timing of that is a lot different than it is if you're playing 3 technique. And it takes a lot of practice. And for him, it's just so natural. So, again, not surprising, but I think it's worth stating repeatedly how difficult it is to be this productive on the outside when you're a 3 technique.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I mean, Chris, he's big, right? He's big bear. Yeah. And you put him on the outside. Well, if you put him on the outside, you put any big defensive tackle on the outside, they're not as good. I'm just telling you. They're just not. You take that away from them. But to put him on the outside, and the techniques he's using right here, Mike, is he's actually giving them a little soft power, like I'm power, so he can sit his feet down, and then he's just quicker. He's just quicker than this tackle. He just arm swipes him, because if you're going against a big rusher, you have to sit down so you won't get pushed back. And he tries to sit down, and he just can't hold up. So Chris Jones wins on the first move. Dana wins on the second move. George wins on the third move. I mean, this is real football right here. And not all the time does do the guy, because Chris Jones makes this play, right? But he doesn't get, he doesn't come up with the sack. But it's an ultimate team game, and when you can do stuff like this and have, this is definitely a NASCAR front. I'm sure they probably call it like this, and this is getting after the quarterback, and they're pinning their ears back, and this is all good right here, man.
Yeah,
all good.
Yeah, and I like the way Karlaftis works down, crosses the center space, probably realizes that the guard is going to leave, and then plays back out.
Yep.
Or actually says in rush lane, like, oh no, I need to cover back up. Boom.
Great job. No, that's a great job there, and I think it shows just how much respect the Jaguars have for Chris Jones there, that they want to make sure if this is an inside move from Chris Jones coming here, that this guard's here to swallow it up. Just so much attention for Chris Jones there that it actually leaves the rush lane open for George Karlaftis to then come back across the face of the center. Just a great job. And, shout out Mike Dana for crushing the pocket against this left guard here. Just a terrific job. He'll set all this up. Complimentary rushing.
And you know what else is worth noting is Chris hasn't been with the team. I mean, this is like,
this is one of his first harsh reps.
You know how hard it is to get back into it, having not been pads he hasn't been in pads since what? Since the
Super Bowl. Yeah.
It's like, and he comes out there like, oh yeah, no, just like everyday stuff.
But that is a testament to, because it is, I'm telling you now, and Mike's right, it's hard to get into football mode when you're not actually there. You can supplement it all you want to, but he's been doing something to really get himself going, and it showed. He didn't miss a beat.
Not at all. Not at all. Okay, let's get to the run game here. Had to start with Chris Jones. He comes back here. Let's get to the run game. Jacksonville Jaguars are a very stretch running team. They don't like to run between the tackles very much. They like to get on the outside there. The Chiefs end up only having one active nose tackle on the game day active roster with Derrick Nottie here. And part of that's because they wanted to call up number 93, Matt Dickerson. We talked about him a little bit last week from the practice squad again for plays like this. We're going to start with the wide view here, and we're going to go back to the tight view. But you can see the penetration he gains into the backfield there, sees the gap, ability to kind of get into the backfield here and allow the linebackers to keep going to the outside here. This is a good job by 93, Mike.
Yeah, this really is good. And, it's funny because, well, here's a couple things. So this young man is doing a great job. And you're right, to defeat a stretch run game, this is what you need to have, just getting off the football. Now, you got to be careful. Okay, and I don't want to make the guy's a great play. I'm not trying to be overcritical. But first off, let's look at the formation, right? You got is that a wide receiver in 17 on the backside?
Say here. No, that is Evan Ingram. He's a tight end. He just wears a wide receiver now.
Yeah. Okay. Well, either way, the tight end of the left is much closer to the football, up on the line of scrimmage. That guy on the back is off the football. So right away, as a 3 technique, I'm thinking, okay, let me get a little bit wider here because I don't want this. I want to knock this guy back. I want my rush. I want to be up the field, but I certainly don't want to get cut out. And you can see he's a little bit tighter than probably he needs to be, and he just gets behind this guy. But this is what you got to do. I mean, if you're firing up the football, boom, you're right up the field, right up the field. But again, in a perfect world, you'd be either knocking that guy back or on the other side of 68. You got to be careful with him reaching you like that.
Yeah, absolutely. The best thing 93 does right here is just go, right? Yeah. And Mike's right. And Mike's being critical because Mike is really hard on himself and he wants to, and I love that because I need him to be right up there. But and this happens, right? And Mike knows this happens a lot. On a really good stretch team, you're not going to be able to stay in your gap all the time. It's hard. Right. But if you can penetrate and go upfield, then as linebackers, when this running back kind of bounces it more, we don't have to take on the lineman. We can just freaking run.
Yeah, that's no question. In fact, one of the best plays I had in the NFL was when I was with the Jets. Same thing. We were playing against the Seahawks, and Marshawn Lynch was the back. Same thing happened. I got reached right out the jump and tackled him for like a 10-yard, tackled Marshawn Lynch for like a 10-yard loss. I'd have to pick it up in my wall and everything. But I still can't look at it without thinking I got reached. Only a minus,
Well, I do want to highlight here the Chiefs on the third drive of the game right now. Nick Bolton, very key component of this defense.
Yep.
They're putting in Drew Tranquil and giving him some reps as the Mike all of a sudden here, giving him some chance to call the defense. Steve Spagnuolo likes to rotate, especially his linebackers in a little bit more, get him some experience. There are injuries. There's attrition that's going to happen throughout the season. I do like that he's giving these guys a few more reps and having them get those looks. That way, weeks like this week where Nick Bolton hasn't practiced yet, it remains to be seen if he's going to play, you get a little more confidence in your backups because they've gotten some more snaps here, DJ.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, they got 4 backups that can play, right? 23, 32, 54, 50. So all of them do get in the game. 23 was Drew was a off-season addition, and he's a veteran, right? What year is he? What year is he?
Oh man, I think he's year 5.
Okay,
year 5 or 6. Year
5.
Yeah.
So he can. That's a guy that you can plug and play. He's not a guy that is new to this. He's been doing this for a while. So he's pretty safe to put in there, and he's athletic and he can run too. I mean, with that 23, he looks like a DB out there. So I mean, this is great. This is the ultimate team game. When somebody else goes down, the next one, you everybody's a starter. Like if you think you're a second string, and Mike knows this. Like when you get in the game, hey, don't say, "Oh, this guy is, he's not really a starter." It's like, no, we expect you to produce, and that's what we have in our backups.
Well, yeah, and it's really smart on that end to get the guys from that angle to get the guys experience. At the same, another point would be, as a defensive lineman, I always loved it because, even just a series off, right? To have a guy rotate in and have a series off, that really give you some juice. I always felt bad for DJ and everybody because they were out there for 100 plays. Having three or four plays off, especially at a time, especially down in Jacksonville, it's hot as hell. getting a series off, that can go a long way for playing hard in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I you know what? I agree with Mike when it comes to defensive line, but I'm a linebacker. I want to stay out there. Don't pull me out.
DJ's out there wanting to
out.
That's true. That's true. I was always like, come on, forgive me. This started down. Why is somebody coming to get me?
All right, here we go with another play here. What we're going to see. This is just a terrific job. We just talked about Nick Bolton being off the field for a little while there. Nick's instincts, we've talked about him plenty of times over the past couple of years. Nick's instincts on this play, especially reading the pulling guard and getting out quickly into where he needs to be, are exceptional. I was setting it up that way because the clip's going to play pretty quick here, DJ. I want you to watch this and tell me what you see here.
Oh, man. This is so. Nick has the uncanny ability to stay alive. He's not very tall, so the good thing I like to use with Nick, Nick always makes sure he can see the runner. Like, it's a lot of big guys in front of Nick. Like, the defensive line is bigger than him. Like, everybody's taller than Nick, but Nick makes sure whatever's going on, he makes sure he can see the runner. And right here is a prime example for him getting around all the trash and then being able to get up and in and just go meet the runner, man. Actually be a running back on the defensive side of the ball. That actually is a good thing to have vision this way. And he knows, with this kind of look, with this kind of crack toss type of look, he's got to get up and in. He's got to get around the corner and then get up and in a hurry. And I mean, he's a sure tackler, man. I'm jealous because early in my career, I didn't have the mental ability Nick has. Nick has the mental smarts, and he's tough at this early age. He looks like a 7-8 year guy easily.
No doubt. Yeah, just looking up front. I mean, now I see what you're saying, Craig. I mean, this is real. I mean, I haven't seen anybody cut in I don't know how long. I mean, this is like Denver, old Houston Texan type. This is
yeah.
So a couple different things. One thing that the defensive line can do here, like they look at 93 backside, to help yourself out with this is what I had a coach call in-flight adjust. So a lot of coaches teach that 6-inch power step when you're getting off the football, which is fine. But in situations like that, even a 6-inch power step, when you got this fast of a zone, can put you in a bad spot. And so I had a coach with the Jets, Carl Dunbar, who taught us, fire out of your hips first, and then adjust as the play's going with your feet. And that's a good way to play against zone-type teams like this, especially teams that, like, look at how, I mean, they're just running. So, I mean, this is elephants on parade. It almost looks like it would be some sort of So one thing they could do to help themselves is just slow down that step a little bit. That way you're able to play that cut block a little bit better on the backside. And then on the front side, I'm looking at that 2I, almost a 291 there. Again, this is hard to see, but it looks like it's a run. It looks like you could see the offensive line stance as a run. And they can't really run it open. There's just too many guys over there.
Yeah. So you don't run 2-3 like that.
Yeah, you're going to run to the 3. So I think you could almost half it there or get wider, to help yourself, because if they're going to run, it's got to go your way.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't, I would try to, but again, I didn't realize until this play, and I didn't realize it watching this, how fast this zone running game is. I mean, this is old.
Yeah. Doug Peterson has these guys just firing off and trying to get horizontal on some of these run plays. It really is. And I mean, underrated here, Derrick Johnson has a small hand on 68 here. I don't think that he would have caught Nick by any means here. I think Nick is just out the gate on this play. But good job to try and keep your linebackers a little bit cleaner there. Just get a small hand on him, slow him up just a little bit.
Yeah, and it, and that's the thing. Like the front game like this kind of sucks for the guys up front, but at the same time, if they're going to reach this fast, it's almost like they're not helping themselves out, because you keep seeing our defensive lineman getting into the backfield and causing problems, even though he got reached by 2 guys. He's in on the tackle. So like, you still got to get a piece of your man as an offensive lineman. They're running those blocks so fast that the guys are just flying upfield and making plays.
Yeah, absolutely there. All right. Last one here is just going to be something that I know DJ is going to love on this. This is 1st and goal from the 1-yard line. The Kansas City Chiefs defense did not allow a touchdown in the red zone or otherwise this week. This is 1st and goal from the 1-yard line, and they're going to try and, give a little run action inside here and have Trevor Lawrence keep it to the outside, and they don't fool Nick Bolton one bit on this play here. Just, DJ, talk through, we're going to see the reverse angle here. Talk through what is going through, what he's doing with his eyes here, what he's seeing to make him trigger that fast on something like this.
Yeah, see, this right here, this Coach Gary Gibbs used to say, sometimes on the field, you make me look good. And this, I'll tell you what, man, this play right here, Nick is probably not coached to say, hey, I have the quarterback on this play. Snead actually has the quarterback on this play. But you talk about great eyes. Again, this guy has the canny ability to say, hey, I need to see what's going on. And he just has a knack for being around the ball. And he flows really well by just staying alive. Look at him. All the blocks are in front of him. And the big thing about being a linebacker, there was no room inside. So he knows he could flow. Even if they hand the ball off, there's no room in there. And he's just trusting his defensive line up front. Nick's trusting those defensive line to handle this running game, and he's just extra. Like, if he didn't make this play, coach wouldn't have gave him a negative on the deal. They just would have been like, Snead, you got to stay outside. It's just like that, But, players make plays, man. Players. I love this play right here. I love it.
Yeah.
DJ, how hard is it to see this? I guess I've never thought of this before, but like that handoff fake to the back, you're in 32's position.
Mm-hmm.
Is it tough to see where that is?
That's very tough. I mean, he almost can't see. I mean, it's one of those things where his instincts is telling him, man, it is really packed up in here. He needs to he's probably going to keep this ball. And maybe Steve Spagnuolo is probably like, hey, we have enough people, defensive line up front on this goal line front. Look, you know what? I need you to help on the quarterback with Snead on the outside. So maybe that was the genius part of Steve Spagnuolo. But this is a great play, man. And yes, it is very hard to see. This is a goal line look, so it's harder to see that's usually not that cloudy to see.
Yeah, no, the guys did a good job up front. Do you have, let me see, can I see it one more time?
Yeah, absolutely. Here you go.
Yeah, I mean, they did a good job up front. I mean, it's just amazing what the NFL has become. This is the type of stuff that happens on the goal line.
No, hey.
Yeah, you guys are used to, like fullback lead stuff, like pounding it between the tackles over and over again. Like, what jumps out when you see this? Like, do you look at that and you're like, man, that's risky? Or do you look at that and you think, man, I'm glad I didn't have to defend against that?
I'm glad I didn't have to defend again. I mean, this is hard stuff.
Yeah, it's option football. Option football is always hard.
Yeah. Yeah. I like to complain about how they don't run it anymore, but I totally understand it. Like, give me power and lead all day, They fire up the football, they knock the guys back. I mean, you're not getting involved in this play out there, but 32, that's a hell of a play, because you're right. If he doesn't read that, we got problems.
Yeah, it's 6. I think it's 6. I mean, listen, Jerry Snead gets a little too is sucked inside. I think Trevor Lawrence makes a pylon there pretty easily. So, yeah. Saving a touchdown there. Obviously, Chiefs get off the field. Did a great job this week. Was really impressed with how sound they played, both, rushing the passer, the secondary was really good as well, but linebacker play was absolutely phenomenal this week, especially against a team that wants to get as wide as they do. Kansas City Chiefs coming up against an offense here that has struggled a little bit. When you guys are looking at something like that, you're looking at an offensive line that's maybe a little bit weaker that you're coming up against. Are you guys salivating in the meeting room? Are you watching tape and going, oh, man, I feel a good game coming on here, or is it business as normal?
I feel good. I mean, you have to walk that line of not underestimating them, right? This is the NFL, and anybody can play, anybody can beat you. But you do start looking, especially when you guys have guys around you like I did, like Dontari Poe and Derrick Johnson, Tom Bahali, and you just know, oh man, I would get a little bit anxious because I thought there's no way I'm going to make any plays out there. But no, it's good, and you just you keep building on what you've been doing. I mean, you just did it against two really good teams. Now you come out and you eat against these guys because it's clear they are the better team. And I think there's a lot of things you can do to take advantage, at least from a defensive line standpoint, to take advantage of a team that's struggling like this. They got guys going in and out. The offensive line is struggling. I would stem the fronts. I'd bring some various, different blitzes. I mean, throw a bunch of stuff at them because they're having trouble dealing with normal stuff, let alone, the stuff that Spagnuolo can dial up. But this should be another game to just continue to build on and grow and just allow that offense to continue to catch up. This is a perfect game for their defense to just go out and put a whooping on them.
Yeah, there's a saying, you never, regardless of how underachieving a team is playing, you never feel sorry for them. It's just how it is. Trust me, because I've been on that other side where things aren't too good. They did not feel sorry. They took it to us. But the thing is, sometimes we can't really look at our opponent as much. It's all about getting better. Like that's how you consistently have longevity in the league and actually excel and get some momentum behind you. You got to get better. What do we have to do, regardless of who we playing next? Well, what do we have to do to get better this week, regardless of the opponent? And with this young quarterback, with Justin Fields and these guys, I mean, he's a wild card when it comes to running the ball and doing some stuff. He can get some sparks there, but they clearly have some issues there. But it just makes sure they don't get them fixed on Sunday.
Yeah, that's right.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I thank Mike DeVito for joining me, Derrick Johnson for joining me, the Derrick Johnson Defend the Dream Foundation. There is a link right down here in the description of this video. Please click that, donate a little money to DJ's Foundation. We really appreciate that. Really appreciate you watching. Like, share, subscribe, do all of those wonderful things. We will be back next week to break down the Chiefs' defense against the Bears. Be kind to each other, and we will catch you later.